Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm glad you're here. Today, we're going to talk about something I see all the time. Older men who assume that just because they've lived a little longer, they automatically have the upper hand in dating. And while life experience can absolutely be attractive, there are some habits that might actually be holding you back without you even realizing it. So if you're not getting the response you hoped for or feel like something's just off, this one's for you. Let's break down the key mistakes older men often make that can quietly push women away. 1. Acting like a mentor instead of a partner. One of the most common missteps older men make when dating is slipping into the role of a teacher instead of being an equal partner. And sure, your life experience is incredibly valuable. You've learned things through trial and error that younger people simply haven't had the time to figure out yet. But here's the catch. Constantly trying to teach a woman can quickly turn a fun conversation into something that feels like a lecture. It's totally fine to share insights or opinions, especially when a topic you're passionate about comes up. But if every conversation ends with you explaining, correcting, or guiding her, she may start to feel like a student rather than a romantic interest. And that's not attractive. It's tiring. Most women appreciate a man who knows what he's talking about. Confidence is sexy, but the real magic happens when both people feel like they're contributing equally. Women want to be seen, heard, and involved in the exchange, not talked down to. So if you notice yourself constantly explaining things, try flipping the dynamic, ask more questions, get genuinely curious about her thoughts, her interests, her life, let her teach you something. The goal is to build mutual understanding, not just impress her with your knowledge. When you move from being a professor to being a partner, you'll create a space where real connection can grow, and that's what builds attraction. Two people feeling seen, valued, and understood. Remember, you don't need to prove how smart or experienced you are. That already shows in how you carry yourself. Instead, focus on making her feel connected, not corrected. 2. Neglecting health and appearance. Let's be honest, how you take care of yourself says a lot about how much you value yourself. And while we all want to be loved for who we are inside, attraction often starts with what's on the outside. That doesn't mean you need to be a bodybuilder or look like a movie star. But effort? That counts for a lot. Many older men fall into the trap of thinking looks don't matter anymore, or that women should just appreciate who they are as is. But truthfully, when a man puts effort into his appearance, clean, well-fitting clothes, a fresh haircut, healthy-looking skin, it sends a powerful signal. It tells a woman, I respect myself and the people I spend time with. Let's talk skincare for a moment. This is something a lot of men, especially older ones, completely ignore, but healthy skin makes you look more energetic, more vibrant, and, let's face it, younger. A basic skincare routine doesn't take much time, but it makes a massive difference. You don't need a drawer full of fancy products, just the basics: a face wash, an exfoliator, a moisturizer with SPF during the day, and one for night. And your wardrobe? It matters too. If you're still wearing jeans from the early 2000s or your shirts are faded and stretched out, it's time for an upgrade. You don't need to follow trends, just wear clothes that fit you well and look intentional. When a woman sees that you take pride in your appearance, it shows you're someone who cares about yourself, your life, and her. That confidence and self-respect, way more attractive than any six-pack. 3. Complaining about modern women. One of the fastest ways to kill attraction on a date is to sit across from a woman and complain about how women today just aren't like they used to be. Whether it's about independence, dating apps, feminism, or how hard it is to find a good one these days, it all starts to sound bitter. And bitterness is not attractive. Let's put ourselves in her shoes. Imagine going on a date with a woman who spends the entire time telling you how much she dislikes men. How men are emotionally unavailable, only care about looks, or don't want commitment. How would you feel? Probably judged, stereotyped, and turned off. Well, that's how she feels when you generalize and complain about women as a group. Even if your frustrations are valid, a date is not the time to unload them. Venting about past experiences or complaining about the current dating scene puts out a vibe of negativity, and it makes her wonder, is he even open to connecting? Or is he just jaded? Instead, talk about what you do want. Be clear about your values, what you're looking for, and what excites you about finding a partner. Positivity, even if it's calm and grounded, is incredibly attractive. It shows emotional maturity. When you focus on possibilities instead of problems, you open the door for connection. Women want to feel chosen, not like they're being measured against some outdated standard or blamed for societal shifts they had no control over. So if you want to stand out in the modern dating world, let go of the complaints and start showing up with curiosity, hope, and an open heart. Trust me, she'll feel the difference. 4. Rushing into things too quickly. It's great to be intentional. In fact, many women appreciate older men because they tend to know what they want and don't waste time playing games. There's a fine line between being clear and being in a rush. When things move too quickly, it can feel more like pressure than passion. Some older men jump into relationships like they're running out of time, wanting to define things early, talk about the future fast, or push for serious commitment within just a few dates. But from a woman's perspective, that can feel overwhelming. Instead of feeling chosen for who she is, she might feel like she's just a puzzle piece being fit into a life plan that was already drawn up. Real intimacy takes time. Even if you've dated a lot or feel sure about what you want, each new connection is unique. Let it unfold. Enjoy getting to know her layer by layer, not trying to fast track to the finish line. Also, avoid behaviors that seem clingy or overly eager too early on. Constant texting, pushing for multiple dates a week, or acting like a boyfriend before that level of connection is even there. These actions might come from a place of genuine interest, but they can feel suffocating. The strongest relationships are built on a foundation of comfort, respect, and shared experiences over time. When you allow space for things to grow naturally, you create trust, and trust is what leads to long-term connection. So don't rush. Relax into the process. Show her that while you know what you want, you're not desperate, you're deliberate. 5. Trying too hard to seem younger. There's a difference between being youthful and trying to act like you're still 22. Staying active, dressing well, and keeping a sense of humor. Those things are great. But when an older man starts copying the fashion or behavior of younger men just to fit in, it often has the opposite effect. You don't need to wear skinny jeans or use Gen Z slang to impress anyone. In fact, when a woman senses you're trying to be someone you're not, it can feel awkward or worse, inauthentic. True attraction comes from self-acceptance, not imitation. Here's what many men overlook. Being comfortable in your own skin is way more magnetic than trying to look or act like a younger version of yourself. A man who knows who he is and isn't afraid to own it is incredibly appealing. Women love confidence that feels calm, not performative. Sure, there's nothing wrong with updating your wardrobe or staying current with culture, but do it because you enjoy it, not because you're trying to compete with younger guys. You don't need to beat them at their own game. You've already got different strengths, wisdom, stability, emotional maturity, a clear sense of purpose. These are your unfair advantages. So, rather than trying to hide your age, lean into it. Show up with presence, not pretense. A man who embraces who he is at whatever age is far more attractive than one trying to pretend he's someone he's not. Own your age, lead with confidence, and let the rest fall into place. 6. Treating dating like a job interview. Some men approach dating like they're making a business pitch. They show up ready to list off their job title, salary, real estate portfolio, and other achievements as if they're applying for a position titled boyfriend. But here's the thing. Attraction doesn't work like a job interview. Yes, women care about stability and success, but that's not what creates chemistry. What draws people in is how you make them feel. If you're only talking about what you've accomplished, it might come off as arrogant, or worse, disconnected. Instead of trying to sell yourself, focus on building an emotional connection. Be present, be real. Ask her about her day. Share stories that make her laugh or think. Let your personality, not just your resume, shine through. Also, don't make the mistake of overcompensating by trying to prove your worth too early. It can feel like you're trying to convince her to buy into your life instead of simply enjoying time together and seeing if a natural connection exists. Women want to feel a spark. They want fun, depth, and genuine interest, not a rundown of your accomplishments. Those things will naturally reveal themselves over time as you get to know each other. So shift your mindset. You're not trying to land a deal, you're seeing if there's chemistry. Be curious, be vulnerable. Let the conversation breathe. When you stop treating dating like a negotiation and start treating it like a meaningful experience, you'll not only enjoy it more, you'll stand out from the crowd. At the end of the day, dating isn't just about your age, it's about the energy you bring, the confidence you carry, and the effort you're willing to make to connect. If you avoid these subtle mistakes and lean into authentic connection, you're going to stand out in the best possible way. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which one of these stood out to you the most? Are you dating younger women or women your age? What's worked for you and what hasn't? Drop your stories down in the comments to help other guys out and keep this conversation going. I always love reading your thoughts. And don't forget to like this video if you found it helpful, subscribe to stay updated with more content. Love to connect with you there too. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.